Hello and welcome back to the Wireshark Certified Network Analysis video series from techpix.net. We love technology. All right, in this video, I will be talking about few things, and the first thing we'll be talking about is knowing where to tap into the network. This is very important task in Wireshark, and it is a very important task to know for your Wireshark Certified Network Analysis exam. Capture traffic on switch network. This is important because on switch networks it's a different process for you to capture traffic in order to get all the traffic that going through that switch into that Wireshark machine that you have connected to the switch, and we will talk about that in details. And then we'll talk about use a test access port tap on full duplex network. A tap is it's a hardware, a piece of hardware you buy, and you use it to tap into the switch or tap into the network so you can capture the traffic on that network. And then we'll talk about defining when to set up port spanning, port mirroring on a switch. That's going to fall under this area right here. Basically, they're going to be discussed together. But the reason why I have them in this um, like this is first, second, third, and fourth. It's because the information that I'm getting and the way I'm discussing this course, I don't know if I mentioned that or not. I'm getting the information from online and it's all public. And this is the wiresharktraining.com, and this is the Wireshark Certified Network Analysis exam objectives. All right, these are what objectives or what subjects you will be encountering in the exam. So I already talked about network analysis overview. I already talked about introduction to Wireshark, which is the GUI and everything like that. We talked about some of the capturing of the things that we need to capture, and some of the how to capture and what is capture filters and traffic filters. So and today I'm going to add to that is know where to tap into the network. If you look, there's a key in front of some of those subjects. Those are important subjects. That means you will get more questions from this subject, from this bullet right here, than the ones that without the key. So I'm going to be concentrating on the ones with the keys and explain them to you. So all you need to do is to watch the video, do some practice test, and do some studying, and then take your test and pass it, and then come to me and comment and say, "Thank you, Abdullah. You helped me out," and that will be the best thing if I help somebody out pass a test. All right, and then we'll be talking. If you hear use test access port tab for full networks. And then we have analyze Wireshark networks. I'm not going to talk about this now because I'm going to have a video at the end after I'm done with wired network. I'm going to be talking about wireless networks and how do we analyze and capture wireless networks. And then we already talked about automatically saved packets to one more file, so I'm not going to cover that. So I'm bringing the way I'm doing it. I'm getting a section by section. I'll be talking about it, but sometimes I'll mix and match some sections and leave them to the end. I'll talk about them in different videos. So don't be confused. But this is the website right here, wiresharktraining.com/file/WSU certain FOPK July 2012 PDF. All right, you can find it online. Just type Wireshark Training and you'll find it. And I'll be talking about each of those sections in different videos, and some of them and all together. So until we get all those videos, until we get all these sections, especially the one with the keys in front of them, and we'll be able to pass the exam easily. All right, let me put this back here. Okay, we put this back. So now let's talk about know where to tap into the network. All right, know where to tap into the network. What does this mean? What do you mean know where to tap into the network? Before I jump into this, I just need you to know there's three types of packets that the network adapter filters those packets. It will not show it in your capture file unless you tell it to. It will capture all unicast, all multicast, and all broadcast packets out of the capturing process. And it just that's what network adapters does, because he doesn't want to show you that things that coming into their address. He just say, why are you interested in that? Multicast things that you're sending to a specific group, and then broadcast things that go into the entire network. The network adapter is not going to show you those files unless, if you remember from last video, when we talked about the capture option window, and we talked about use permissions mode on all interfaces. So if we move this if we don't use this, is the network adapter or the filtering process is not going to show you unicast, multicast, and broadcast. But if we put this check mark and start capturing, it will show you unicast, multicast, and broadcast. But I just wanted to tell you this: the permissions mode means is permissions mode. Without permissions mode, those are not going to be shown, and this is important. You need to remember those. Unicast, multicast, and broadcast are not going to be shown if you are not using permissions mode in your capturing options. Okay, now let's go into where to tap into the network. How do you choose if you came and this is, let's say this is a small network, this is a small office right here, okay, and we have 4 clients, we have 1 server, and we have the provider that provide them with the internet and other stuff, and this is a firewall. I made it huge. I don't know why this is big icon for the firewall, but it looks good, and firewalls are important, so let's leave it big. Okay, now I'm sorry if my voice is a little bit different. I'm kind of sick. It's April, it's springtime, supposedly to be spring, but it's very cold outside and it's snowing in some places in the United States. So I'm in North Carolina right now, but it was hot. It was 80 degrees 2 days ago, and now it's 30 degrees. It's crazy. So I'm kind of sick. So my voice it's different, and you're probably gonna hear me sniffing and stuff like that. But don't worry, I'm just sick. Okay. So let's talk about where to tap into the network. So this is a small office, and you have client one, let's say, complaining that he cannot go, or it's slow for him to go to the internet. It's just he doesn't get the pages very fast or something, it's just slow and he has a problem with that. Now, in your mind, probably you'll say, okay, maybe it's router 2 not forwarding the traffic fast, or maybe the switch has a problem. But the main thing you need to do, the first thing you need to do is to put Wireshark on the client. You actually have to capture it's capture the traffic as close to the source as possible, as close to the source as possible. Okay, so you put Wireshark here. Let's do this wire. Let's just put wire. Okay, I hate typing with this writing with the mouse. So we put Wireshark here, and then we are going to look at the traffic of the client one when it's trying to go to the internet. Like, we put Wireshark, start capturing, and then go to the browser and go into a specific website, doesn't matter, and see how long it's taking for the client to reach switch one, how long it's taking for the client to reach router 2, and how long it's taking for the response from the provider back. And you will see, we will talk about the times in a different video, and how to see the trip, uh, the round trip of a specific packet when it's go and come back, and how long it takes. We'll talk about that. But you need to know, for this purpose, for this video, you need to know is Wireshark. You need to put it on the client as close as possible to the source as possible, and start getting the traffic of the client. Now, if put Wireshark, and now you say, let's say that it's the switch problem, or you want to know if it's the switch problem, and you're thinking, how are you going to tap into the switch? Now, in this video, later on, I'm going to talk about switch networks, because if you connect your laptop or your computer into the switch and start capturing traffic in here, you are not going to see that anything going to those clients right here. You're not going to be able to capture those unless you tell the switch, anything that you are forwarding to those clients, I need you to send a copy of it to this port right here. You will be connected to it, because the switch doesn't send everything to every port. It's not a hub. A hub sends everything to every port. A switch only send, get the packet, and it will look at the MAC address or the destination, and then it will make a decision and it will send it to the client. So you need to make sure you tell the switch, and we will talk about it later in this video. Okay, so now let's take a look at shared media, switched media, same computer, switched media, and other where to tap into the network. This is just a continuous. Now, what does shared media means? What it means, if you have an environment, which is, I don't, it's very rare to have this environment now. Because hubs are very old, but in case you have an environment where it's using hubs, and you have a problem between host A and host B, or you want to capture and analyze the network, all you need to do is just to connect your laptop or your Wireshark machine into the hub, and everything that goes into one port is going to come out every port. So if it's going from host A to host B, your Wireshark machine will see that traffic, and just like it's going to you, it's going to come through that port you're connected to. So this is an easy way, but I doubt that there is networks out there. I mean, there are some people still probably using hubs, but it's very slow, and we moved over to the switches environment, and in switch environment, anything that goes from host A to host B, it's only anything goes from host A is going to go to the switch. Switch is going to look at the packet, is going to inspect the MAC address of the destination, and you will see that the destination is host B. All it's going to do is going to forward from this port to the port that host B is connected to, and host B is going to take that packet and do whatever it does it's we're supposed to do. So every other port, all the other ports on the switch are not going to see that network packet. Only the port that was distanced to. So what you can do is you can put the Wireshark on the machine itself. In this case, you're only going to see the traffic between host A and host B, nothing else. So you're only going to analyze the traffic between those two hosts. Nothing else on the switch is going to be showing on your network. Okay, now another way to do it, which is actually is not going to work, is if you have switched media and you're going from host A to host B, just like what we did here in this scenario, and you connect your Wireshark machine into the switch, you're not going to see anything unless it's a broadcast or a unicast that going to the specific address of your machine. But other than that, you're not going to see the traffic between host A and host B, because it's again a switch take the traffic and forward it to the port that is going to, and the host will see it. You will not going to see that traffic, not like the hub. So in the switch media, in this case, what you do is you can do the following. Let me hear. Okay, in this case, there's different ways to do it to be able to see what the switch traffic is. And this is going to put us into the, if we look here, we are going to talk about capture traffic on switch networks, and we are going to talk about use test access port taps. All right, and define when to set up port spanning. Those all together are going to be discussed now. If we go back. Okay, so what you can do is you can do something called hubbing out. It sounds cool, right? Let's hub out, man. You want to hub out a little bit? It sounds like let's hang out. So it's funny. It's hubbing out. What hubbing out mean is if you have a switch, okay, just and you connect a hub into the switch, and then you connect the host B into the hub, and you connect your Wireshark machine into the hub. Everything coming from the switch to the hub will be forwarded to all the ports and then sent to host B and your Wireshark machine. So you will see all the traffic that coming from the switch to the hub and coming to host B is gonna come to your Wireshark machine, and you will analyze it and you will look at it. Okay. Or what you can do is you can do switch monitor reports. Okay, I'm gonna leave this to the end, okay, and we'll talk about it with the switch plus tab right here, and switch and man in the middle. Well, you know what? This is the end. Let me just talk about it right now. I don't know what I'm talking about. I want to leave it to the end. Well, this is almost the end of the video. So, switch monitor report. What it means, you have a switch, Cisco switches, all right, which is the most common used switches in the businesses, and you know, we take all CCNA, CCNP exams and all that. And I'm pretty sure if you try to take your Wireshark, I'm pretty sure you probably have a CCNA or CCNP or a CCNA security like me, okay? So what do you do here in this environment? You have host A, host B, and you have a switch. You tell the switch that you want to monitor the session, any traffic going from, let's say this is a fast Ethernet 0 over 1. Let's say this is fast Ethernet 0 over 1, okay? And this is fast Ethernet 0 over 2. Okay. Okay, so I had to pause the video and come back because I wanted to show you guys, let me do this. Okay, so I wanted to bring the command that you type when you do the switch monitor report on a Cisco switch. And I just wanted to type the command down and so you can see it. So again, in this scenario here, you are connecting your Wireshark machine into the switch port here. However, you're not going to be able to see the traffic between host A and host B because, as we said before, the switch is not going to forward the traffic to all the ports. So what you do is you go to there's a switch and you type the command monitor session 1 source interface fast Ethernet 0 over 1, which is anything source. This is, let's say this is 0 over 1, this interface right here, and we are going to write another command monitor session 1 destination interface is fast ethernet 0 over 2, and this is fast ethernet 0 over 2. So now we just told the switch any traffic that coming from fast ethernet 0 over 1, go ahead and send that traffic, like span it and monitor that traffic on fast ethernet 0 over 2. Now you're probably wondering what's going to happen on this port. Let's say this is port 0 over 3, right? Well, what we can do is we can do another command, say monitor session, and instead of 1, we're going to put 2, and we're going to say source interface fast Ethernet 0 over 3, and then monitor session 1 destination interface fast Ethernet 0 over 2. So now what we have two sessions being monitored by one port and going into your Wireshark machine. So you will see all the traffic coming from host A going to host B and coming from host B and going to host A on your Wireshark machine, even if you're connected to a switch port. Now, the next way you can do that, you can do machine in the middle scenario. Sounds like man in the middle attack in networking life, but that's not a good thing to have. But machine in the middle is basically like man in the middle attack. So what's going on is you have a host A and host B communicating with each other through the switch, and what we do is we get a machine with two interfaces. One of them, let's say it's built in to the laptop, and the other one is just an external USB LAN, or if it's a desktop, it's just I just have two PCI adapters, and all I do is I connect the cable that coming from the switch to my LAN interface on the laptop, and then take a cable from the second LAN interface connected to host B. Now what's going on is you will see the traffic on coming from host A to host B on your machine, and the switch doesn't know that there's this thing in the middle. The switch has no idea that you are in the middle, and you're just seeing all the traffic coming from host A to host B. Another way to do it, and this is the way that's going to make us go into the next bullet in our in this video, which is the taps. Well, what you do is it's anything coming from host A to host B. What you're gonna do, you are going to use a tap. It's a hardware you can buy. I don't know how much they cost. I didn't really research them because I've used them. They're good. There's many other options, but they're good. They're the best option, but you gotta spend money to buy those taps. So what you do is you still have to have two interfaces on your laptop, which is possible, and because Wireshark will be able to actually manage to see the traffic or to capture traffic from two interfaces at the same time. What you do is you connect the tab, you connect the switch port to one of the ports on the tab. This is port 1, and let's say this is port 2. So you connect the switch from port 1 to port 2, and then you tap, there's like another ports called port 3 and port 4. Now let's say this tab will take the traffic from port 1 and send a copy of it to port 3, and the traffic from port 2 and send a copy of it to port 4, and then you have 4 and 3 connected to your laptop to your Wireshark machine, and then you'll see the traffic. Now I'll show you this right here. There's three tabs. There's many tabs, but three important types for the tabs is the first is the breakout tab. Breakout tab is the first type, takes the traffic that flows from network port A. Let's say take the traffic that flows from port A. Take the traffic that flows from port A right here. Let me just put around it right here. Okay. to port B and send a monitor port a C. So any traffic coming from A to B will send it to C, and any traffic coming from B to A will send it to D. So what you do is you connect your switch here, and you connect your host here, and the traffic, and then you connect your two line interfaces on your Wireshark machine here. Then you will see all the traffic on port A and B, on port C and D going into your Wireshark machine. The next type of tap, it's called aggregation taps, and this is important, okay? This type takes the traffic that flows from port A to B and B to A and merge it together into one monitoring port. This is the most commonly used because all you need to do is to take one, either C or D, because they're both going to have the same traffic, and you connect your Wireshark machine here, Wireshark, okay? And then you will see all the traffic going between A and B on one monitoring session port, which is port C or D, okay? So you can connect two Wireshark machines and you'll see the same traffic from A and B on one of those ports. So see two live network ports, two monitoring ports, okay? The next type is replicating taps. The replicating tab takes a span input and send that traffic out to multiple ports. So what it means, we have port A, it's span input network port. This is what, we talked about the Cisco command that you say monitor session 1, fast Ethernet 0 over 1, and monitor session 1, fast destination, fast Ethernet 0 over 2. So when you connect the span port here, all these ports right here will have all the information that this span port have, and you can actually tap into all of those ports or either one of them and you will get the information. So these are the three types of taps: breakout taps, aggregation taps, and replicating taps. And there's other type of taps I don't want to discuss, but those are the important ones. And aggregation taps are used more commonly, and then we have replicating taps are used commonly too. So I hope you learned something out of this videos, and the way that I put them together. I try to put them as easy as possible. Especially capturing traffic on switch networks is kind of complicated. If you need to know the information that we talk about. So again, we knew where to tap on the network as close as possible to the source. Switch network, we can span, we can man in the middle, or machine in the middle. We can use taps. Test access ports, that what we do here. And then we talked about spanning port mirroring, which is the command of the Cisco that we talked about right here. Let's see. Go, come on. Here you go. Right here, the monitor session 1 source interface, that is what the tap. So I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you for